What happened was Renuka Shinde and her mother's vow of 42. The story of a mother and her 2 daughters who killed 42 children. Until now, you've heard dozens of crime stories, but we claim that the story we are about to tell you is unlike anything you've ever heard. In fact, you may not have even imagined such a terrifying story. Over just 6 years, 3 women committed the brutal murder of 42 children. Who were these merciless women, and why did they kill these children so ruthlessly? And what happened to these women? Let's find out everything in this video. Believe me, after hearing this entire story, you may not even believe it yourself. Today, I will narrate this tale of cruelty. Before we delve into the full story of these 3 women, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do so, and press the bell icon to turn on notifications for our latest videos. Today we're about to tell you a story of oppression that the world knows by the name Kolhapur serial killer. This story dates back to 1996 when the corpse of a roughly 18-month-old child was found in a deserted area, and nearby there were bloodstains on an electric pole. By looking at the child's condition and the blood on the pole, it was clear that someone had grabbed the child and repeatedly struck its face against the pole, leading to its death. This wasn't the first incident in the area, but in the past few years, dozens of children had mysteriously disappeared from nearby areas, with some bodies found in horrific conditions. The police began their search for the killers, but for many months, they found nothing. After intense investigation, however, they finally discovered that 3 women were behind these murders: Seema Gavit Renuka Shinde and Anjana Bai. Anjana Bai, a prime suspect in the Kolhapur serial killer case, was the mastermind behind it all. She was originally from Nashik and born into a very poor family. From a young age, she developed a habit of theft. When Anjana grew older, she fell in love with a truck driver and ran away with him to Pune. She married him, and in 1973, she had a daughter named Renuka. But soon after, her husband abandoned her and remarried, leaving her in financial distress. Instead of earning money by working, she chose a path of theft, picking pockets and robbing people at markets, cinemas, and temples. Time passed, and Anjana met another man, Mohan Gavit, who was in the army. Around 1974, Anjana married Mohan, and in 1975, she gave birth to her second daughter, Seema. Now she had 2 daughters, Renuka and Seema. However, Mohan also abandoned her, and she returned to a life of theft, involving her daughters in her crimes. The 3 would steal and pickpocket across various districts in Maharashtra, and over time, Anjana accumulated more than 125 cases of pickpocketing, snatching, and theft against her. In 1989, Renuka, Anjana's eldest daughter, married Karan Shinde, who worked as a tailor near Shirdi Temple in Pune. However, this didn't put a stop to their criminal activities. The mother-daughter trio continued their illegal activities. In 1990, while attempting to steal at a temple in Pune, Renuka was caught. She pleaded her innocence, swearing on her child to convince others that she was not a thief. This tactic worked, and Renuka was able to escape. Seeing the effectiveness of using a child to evade capture, Renuka developed a strategy. If caught stealing, she would use a child to gain sympathy and distract people, making it easier to escape. In July 1990, Renuka saw a child wandering alone near Kolhapur. She picked up the child and, later at a temple, attempted another theft. When caught, she threw the child to the ground to divert attention, and people, believing her story, allowed her to go. This trick seemed foolproof, so the trio started kidnapping children to use them as decoys for their crimes. However, when the children cried or became a burden, they resorted to brutally murdering them. One such instance involved Renuka smashing an 18-month-old child against an electric pole repeatedly until the child died, after which they threw the body in a drain. The 3 women continued this horrific pattern for years, using innocent children to cover up their crimes and then killing them to avoid any trouble. While gently calling the child innocent, they would lift them up and carry them away, then calmly escape. Once home, they would mercilessly kill the child. The extent of these women's ruthlessness can be illustrated by an incident. When one child began to cry loudly, the 3 women held the child's face in a bucket of water and restrained the child's arms and legs until they stopped breathing. In another instance, these 3 women, mother and daughters, kidnapped a 2.5-year-old girl and used her to commit theft, When they were caught, they threw the girl onto the road with such force that onlookers' attention shifted from the crime to the injured child, allowing the three women to flee the scene with the girl. Due to the injury, the young girl kept crying, which enraged them. They found a deserted spot and mercilessly killed her by repeatedly slamming her on the ground, then put her body in a bag and moved on. As they were walking, they spotted a cinema hall. Displaying shocking audacity, the three women entered the cinema hall, carrying the girl's body in a bag. They watched a movie for 3 hours, then left the bag with the girl's body in the theater restroom and left. You might wonder how all of this came to light. Anjana Bai Seema's vow and Renuka Shinde's true identities were exposed in 1996, when they were finally arrested. As noted at the beginning, Anjana Bai's first husband had abandoned her, and her second husband, Mohan, also left her, later marrying a woman named Pratima. The trio even kidnapped Pratima's daughter, their half-sister, used her for theft, and then killed her, discarding her body in a sugarcane field. Pratima reported her daughter's murder to the police in October 1996, marking the first official report involving these women. When Anjana Bai and her daughters, Renuka and Seema, realized the police were onto them, they went underground. However, the police pursued them, and on November 19, 1996, they were arrested. Even under arrest, the women denied involvement in kidnappings or murders, claiming they only committed minor thefts and pickpocketing. But several witnesses testified, saying they had seen the women with various children at different times and that they would throw the children down when caught. The women were adamant about staying silent until the police arrested Renuka's husband, Karan Shinde, as they knew he was innocent and uninvolved in the crimes. Karan was offered leniency in exchange for becoming a state witness, and he agreed to testify against his wife, Renuka, her mother, and sister. As a state witness, he revealed the extent of the women's crimes, recounting how they had killed multiple children and executed numerous kidnappings. Under this pressure, Anjana, Renuka, and Seema finally confessed to their crimes, shocking even the police with their revelations. The investigation uncovered that they had kidnapped at least 42 children from areas like Pune, Thane, Kalyan, Kolhapur, and Nasik in Maharashtra. After using the children for theft, they killed them in different ways. When the police searched their house, they found numerous children's clothes and evidence of the murders. The women confessed that they had tied one child by the feet, hung him inside their house, and repeatedly slammed his head against the wall until he died. They also described strangling or drowning some children. The police registered cases against the three women for the kidnapping of 42 children and murder, though they could only confirm the kidnapping of 13 children and the murder of 5. After their arrest, the trio was sent to jail. Anjana Bai, the primary accused, passed away in prison due to illness before the trial began. Her daughters, Renuka and Seema, faced trial. During the trial, the police presented 156 witnesses, accusing them of 13 kidnappings and 10 murders. The session court convicted them of 6 murders and sentenced Renuka and Seema to death on June 19, 2001. Renuka's husband, who turned state witness, was granted clemency. The sisters appealed the sentence in the Mumbai High Court, which upheld the death penalty in 2004. The Supreme Court later also upheld the decision in 2006. After exhausting lower courts and Supreme Court appeals, the sisters filed a mercy plea with the president, asking for the death sentence to be commuted to life imprisonment. However, in 2014, then-President Pranab Mukherjee rejected their plea, affirming the death penalty. The sisters petitioned again in 2014, arguing that the delay in executing their sentence caused them severe mental distress, which ultimately led the Mumbai High Court to commute their death sentence to life imprisonment on January 18, 2022. They are currently serving life sentences in Pune's Yerwada jail. At this point, you might wonder why it took 6 years for the police to act despite children continuously disappearing. Most of the children the women kidnapped were from poor, slum-dwelling families, which may have influenced the police's slow response. Perhaps, had the police been proactive from the beginning, the horrifying crimes of these women would have been uncovered sooner, sparing numerous lives. What are your thoughts on the court's decision to commute Seema and Renuka's death sentences to life imprisonment? Share your views in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, like and share this video. To hear more stories from the world of crime, subscribe to this channel and support us. We need your support. See you soon with another heart-wrenching story from the world of crime. Until then, take care. Thank you.